Hello everyone, it's Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, jumping on again for another live Q&A. And today we've got some great news for international students, especially those of you who are out there wondering what's going to happen with your programs, unable to get your study permits, and wondering what this is going to mean for your future ability to work. So, after you graduate, that is. So those of you who are international students, you definitely want to pay attention to this. We're going to get to that big news in just a little bit here. But as always, let's take a few minutes to welcome all of the people that are watching live. I've got some announcements that I want to share as we start moving forward. We've got Nydia says hello. Remember, as always, post in the comments where you're tuning in from. This is being broadcast to the YouTube channel, Canadian Immigration Institute, which just recently crossed over 21,000. This is exciting. I remember as I saw the numbers increase within the Express Entry Law private Facebook group, which you also need to go over there and check that out. It's being broadcast into that group and also the Canadian Immigration Institute Facebook page. Haven't quite decided on whether or not I'm going to put it on our Holthe Immigration Law Facebook page. But anyways, it's being spread all over. And I can see people are tuning in from each of these platforms, which is amazing. So as always, we've got my best friend, Ralph, tuning in. Shankar, great to have you here. Raul's tuning in from India. And you can see we've got YouTube. Ralph's up in Edmonton coming from Germany. You bet, Ralph. Big shout out. Kushraj, good to see you. All right, we've got Nessa over in Van City. Amazing. We've got our African connection coming in. Kojo over in Ghana. Welcome, Kojo. Welwyn's over in Toronto. Shankar's in Dubai. Virpal is India. Manon is in Calgary, just 2 hours north of me. Welcome, Manon, the home of Igor and my newest lawyer, Alicia Bachman-Bahari. So very cool to have someone tuning in so close from home. And you guys all over the country, all over the world. Lots of representation from India. We've got Nydia is in Mexico City. Welcome, Nydia. This is amazing. This is wonderful. Let's see. Oh, look at this. We got back-to-back Acapulco. Alexis. Welcome, Alexis. Great to have you. Then we've got Tokasin, who's way up north, about 12 hours north drive from my home here in Lethbridge, up in Grand Prairie. And Nydia says, beautiful Mexico City. Absolutely. So this is great. Then John's up in Edmonton. We've got quite the Alberta connection. I'm wondering where the folks are from the other provinces. Very neat to see everybody tuning in. Ishtik is in Pakistan, and Azam is also Pakistan. Natik is in Winnipeg. All right, we got some Manitoba. So there's lots of people here. And Liliana says, hello to the wonderful place in Canada, Lethbridge, from Germany. Great to have you, Liliana, joining in as well. So great contingent of people. We'll allow some other people to tune in. Paul, welcome, tuning in from South Africa. And we have Anand, who's got the Quebec representation in Montreal. So just wonderful having you guys connect. I appreciate it. This is what makes this live Q&A so much fun. Now, I'm going to take a few minutes here to let you guys all know about some changes that are going to be taking place. The first change is that instead of doing every Tuesday and Thursday, we're only going to do one live Q&A a week, and that is going to be on Wednesday. But there is going to be a time change. And the time change, which we'll do our very best to identify for everyone, is 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Normally, I reserve that for client work, but I've looked at the audience. I've looked at where people are tuning in from. I've made the realization that a lot of people are actually tuning in from Ontario. And yeah, it was just amazing to see how many people from Eastern Canada are connecting. Well, if I do it at 1 p.m., that's 3 p.m. anyways. But if I do it at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., all the people in Ontario are going to hit it right at noon, which is fine. But as you can see here, we've got Julius in BC. Well, if we do it at 10, that's 9 a.m. for you, Julius, and that's not too bad. So what we've started to consider and started to think about is how we can deliver this program live in a way that makes it as easy as possible for people to watch. Now, obviously you in India, that's going to be around 10:30. And so it's going to make it a little bit easier. So give me a thumbs up if you think that's a good time. We're going to roll with it because I've got new responsibilities kicking in. Wednesday is my fun day in the office when I get to do this, when I get to create new video content. And so the live Q&As are going to be Wednesday at 10 a.m. And then I am going to be releasing at least once a week, maybe twice, new videos that cover different segments of immigration. Where are those ideas coming from? All of you guys who are posting comments on the YouTube feed, on Facebook, because of the questions that you ask, that's what's going to create the content for this amazing YouTube channel, as well as the content for future videos. So watch for that. I'm going to drop the live Q&As back down to once a week at a time that's probably a little bit better for most people. And there's going to be a whole bunch of new playlists. So watch on the YouTube channel, especially the playlists that are going to set up in a much more organized fashion, videos that relate to specific topics. Now, another thing I'm excited about, boy, YouTube people always say that, don't they? And I'm always saying excited, but I can't help myself. Wednesday is my awesome day. So I'm going to be creating another channel called Immigration Nation, where I invite in lawyers to join me and to share knowledge that you're just not going to get anywhere else. So other immigration lawyers across the country, I'm going to highlight them, I'm going to promote them, I'm going to show you guys why every single one of you deserve the right to be represented by an immigration lawyer. You shouldn't have to settle for anything else. And part of what we do in our mission at Holthe Immigration Law is to do that exact thing. Now, I want to flip my screen around here and I want to show you guys something right now that I am struggling with. And so I'll flip this over if I can get to the right page. Let's see if this will go to the right. So you guys will see right here, this is my law firm website. I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm not a consultant, I'm an immigration lawyer. And this is my website. And when you click on the Start Here button, and I can probably enlarge this a little bit more so that you guys can see it better, this is where you go to book a consult. And you'll see here that it's $210 for a 25-minute consult. And that's great, right? That's awesome. You fill in the form, you complete the information, but here's the challenge I'm now experiencing. I have spots for right around 20 consults a week. And I am completely booked for the next 2 weeks. No one is going to want to sit around and wait for 2 weeks to get the urgent help that they need. Well, guys, you need to remember, this is one thing that I'm really trying to drill in for everyone. You go to the know-how page, you check up our team, and you will see here in our team that I have 2 other amazing lawyers that are actually smarter than I am, that are more than able and that have capacity. That's why I hired them. That's why I brought them into the team. They're wired like me. They are an immigration lawyer like me. We have Susan Wood here, who is available, as well as my newest lawyer, Alicia, both immigration lawyers, both able to answer your questions, especially when you need help right now and you're not able to wait. Some of you may say, hey, it's not a big deal, Mark. I'll wait 3 weeks to see you. That's fine. We'll book the appointment. It's done. But many people are not realizing that we actually have 2 amazing lawyers. And before long, Igor here, he's a paralegal right now, but he's going to be the 4th member of our firm as a lawyer. And he's just exceptional. But Susan, especially anything related to traveling into Canada, anything, well, really, it doesn't matter what the topic is. They're super experienced with express entry, with those international students. It doesn't matter what it is. I know just a couple days ago, Alicia had 2 consults with international students who are struggling with the insanity, who now are retaining us to help them with the process. So remember, when you're going in here, when you're clicking the Start Here button, when you're going down to the bottom and you're filling out the form here, we are in the process of changing how we structure this, these questionnaires so that you have the ability to choose who you want, to see the availability of appointments and to book it right on the spot. And so that's one of the big advancements that we're going to be making on our website. But for now, if you know who you want to visit with, who you'd like to do the consult with, just include it right here in the bottom. All right. Okay. So we'll move forward with that. I just wanted to share that with you guys as just one of the most latest and, basically advancements, I guess you could say, that we're trying to do to make things more accessible for you guys, because it's all about having access to justice and being able to retain the services of an immigration lawyer. That's what this is all about. All right, let's see where everybody else is tuning in from. And I'm going to get to these questions. So we've got Guri's up in Edmonton. We've got, it looks like Purohit is in India. Great to have you joining. Adele is over in Sydney, Australia. Wow, Africa, South America, Australia, Europe. This is so cool. We've got Marista here is tuning in from, oh, look at those. Are those twins, Marista? That is so cool. I love these. I love it when your profile pictures on your social media channel shows up. So cool. All right, let's see who else we have here. Darshan, aka Tom Cruise, is in Mississauga. Very cool. Raymond, good to see you from Bangladesh. Acel says wants to move to Ontario. Everyone, yes, indeed. All right, so I could just go on and on. Another Winnipeg, watching from the UK. Swabo, just great to have you guys here. And Amna says, I'm in Toronto. I'm here with you anytime, any day of the year. Now that's a faithful follower. Very cool. All right, so I've done tons of shout outs. I'm going to stop doing the shout outs because now it's time for you international students. My little tip, my little strategy of the day, my little notification of the day, the great news. Let's flip over and let me show you what I'm referring to here. And then as soon as we're done this little great news, we're then going to shift over and we're going to answer your live questions right here on the Canadian Immigration Institute live Q&A stream. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what we've got. So as you can see, today's the 27th. This was yesterday, August the 26th. There is some really important new measures on what? On post-graduation work permit eligibility for students beginning programs online. You guys know what's happening. So just to lay the groundwork for people that maybe are not international students, many students, Canada is a super cool country to come study in. And so international students have looked now at Canada more than ever before with all of the craziness that's going on down south in the US. So because of that, they're now turning their attention even more so than before to looking to study in Canada. Well, COVID has ground everything to a halt, including the ability of the overseas missions, the foreign consulates and visa offices to actually issue those study permits. There's all kinds of barriers. Maybe there's biometric requirements and the country doesn't, the biometric intake office is not available, whether it's the visa application centers or wherever you're able to get your biometrics, it's just simply not available. In other cases, the missions themselves do not have sufficient officers that are able to work because of the social distancing requirements to manage all of the passports, imprinting the visas into them and pushing them back together with the study permit approvals to everyone. So what's the problem? What's the ramification? Many students who had applied a long time ago, remember, come March 18th, everything ground to a halt with the overseas missions. And so since that time, many students applied well in advance for a start date of September, for example. And now because of the coronavirus, many schools even in Canada are going online. So whether you're in Canada or whether you're home in India or wherever you are in the world, you still have the ability to start those classes online. But there are ramifications for that. Previously, you had to prove that the study that you were completing was in Canada. Otherwise, you would not be able to obtain right here a post-graduation work permit. So if your studies were online, you wouldn't be eligible for it. even if the school was in Canada. You'd have to be physically present. Well, that's not possible right now. So what IRCC has done is they've clarified some things that are very, very important, and I want to go through them with you guys. So you can see here, they give the outline right here. Many prospective international students who would like to study in Canada this fall are facing uncertainty due to travel restrictions. Yes, we know that. IRCC recognizes this. Big thumbs up, and I just had an awesome call with immigration last night where we talked about some of these issues, and I am super, super proud of my country. I'm really, really impressed with what our immigration department has been able to do in the midst of this pandemic. Are there challenges? Are there things that we wish could have been done a little bit better? Yes. But overall, when I compare Canada, what they've done to what many other countries have done, look at the US. If your program's online, it's my understanding, you got to go home, right? Well, the reality is for Canadian purposes, we're actually trying to help people to facilitate right in the midst of this pandemic. So they will, you can see here, will continue to ensure that Canada's immigration programs are flexible to respond to the uncertainties with 3 new measures on post-grad work permit eligibility for students beginning programs online, okay? So the changes right here are being implemented to provide more flexibility on eligibility rules for the post-grad work permits for these students. And you can see here are the 3 changes, and I'm just going to go over them very quickly. So the start, students may now study online from abroad. So not in Canada, you can start your studies until April 30th of next year, 2021. That means this September start date, those of you who've decided to postpone the commencement of your studies in January, you're still covered by this. So online, you're studying online from abroad until April 30th with no time deducted for the length of a future postgrad work permit, provided 50% of their program of study is eventually completed in Canada. What does that mean? If you have studied for 1 year, if you've studied for less than 2 years in Canada, your postgrad work permit is going to be issued for the duration of that program of study. So if it was a 1-year program, you're only issued a 1-year postgrad work permit. But if you studied outside of Canada, then there was a danger that you would not be eligible for your postgrad work permit, even if you were able to come back and finish the last 6 months of school in Canada. You may not have been eligible before this development to obtain that critical postgrad work permit. Now, aside from that, I've got another channel on my playlist and my YouTube channel that's going to be called Wild Tips on Immigration. And there is one video there. You can scroll down and you can see. But one of the topics that's going to be on there, my tip of the day, which I don't want to spoil, is about choosing whether or not to go for a 1-year program or more. You're going to kind of get an idea. I'm not going to give it away right now. But for people, before this announcement, it was possible that they couldn't be eligible for the postgrad work permit, even though they did part of their studies in Canada. Well, this says that as long as, you can see here, there's going to be no time deducted, right? Provided 50% of your program is eventually completed in Canada. All right, so 4-year program, bachelor's degree, up to 2 years can be completed outside Canada. The whole coronavirus thing is hopefully sorted out. Then you're able to come for the last 2. So this is good news. Now, I'm going to temper this good news when I get through this in a second. Students who have enrolled in a program, that's right here, that is between 8 and 12 months in length. This is huge, guys. This is huge. With a start date from May to September 2020, will be able to complete their entire program online from abroad and still be eligible for a postgrad work permit. Can you just imagine this? What country does this? So they're saying those of you who had enrolled for just a 1-year program, well, it's likely that you're not going to be able to even come necessarily to complete 50% of your program. So because of that, they're going to give you full credit for that online program, and you'll be eligible to apply for a postgrad work permit once your program is completed to then come and work in Canada. Boom! This is so cool. This is so helpful, so facilitative. Why are they doing this? Well, because Canada values international students. They know that we have tons of international schools all across Canada. They know that you come, you spend your money in Canada, and it benefits our economy. And you guys are some of the best candidates for transitioning to permanent residence. All right, we'll leave it at that. Now you can see here the last one, students who've enrolled in a program with a start date from May to September and study online up to April 30th, 2021, and who graduate from more than one eligible program of study may be able to combine the length of their programs of study when they apply for a post-grad work permit in the future, as long as 50% of their total studies are completed in Canada. We don't know exactly how this is going to be interpreted, but this is unbelievably facilitative. Combining programs to then extend the post-grad work permit duration. You will know 1 year of school will give you 1 year of post-grad work permit. 2 years of school will give you 3 years of post-grad work permit. I'll leave it at that. You guys can draw the conclusions. Watch for my wild tip of the day, where I tell you what I think about the whole thing related to durations of education and programs. So there you go. This is so cool. There's one last kind of caveat here. You can see, to be eligible for these measures, students must have submitted a study permit application before starting a program of study in the spring, summer, or fall of 2020, so that's this year, or the January 2021 semester. That's what I was referring to. And all students must eventually be approved for a study permit. That's the part I want to highlight. So those of you who are starting studies early, do not yet have your study permit, understand that there is no 100% guarantee you're going to get that study permit to finish the last 50% of your program. So imagine how cruel it would be for you to start and then be stuck because you can't get the study permit for some reason that IRCC is refusing. So on the surface, this is like mind-blowing, wonderful development for students. But in reality, you have to temper this. And for my purposes, I'm advising my students to hold off, to defer, and not to start their online programs until this world kind of settles down a little bit. I think it's risky. But there's a lot of you out there that submitted your applications already, have already paid your tuition fee, you're ready to start your programs, and you can't really backtrack. So from that standpoint, I'm encouraging people to at least wait till January and then see how things develop. But for those that are stuck, this is amazing news. Congratulations to all of you guys. Wonderful, wonderful news. All right. Okay. Now, Igor had told me there was a couple things I needed to talk about. Post-grad, live Q&A lawyers, 21,000 YouTube subscribers. So cool. So there, I've hit on all of the big points that Igor wanted me to talk about. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get to your questions. And these are all of you faithful people who've posted live ones. Remember, I can't always get to everyone's question. If your question is, hey, Mark, how do I qualify to immigrate to Canada? I'm going to do this right here, which means that's a legal question. Anything that relates specifically to you and isn't of benefit to the whole group here is not something that's I can answer in a comment or a live video stream. So remember, legal advice can only be granted through a paid legal consultation. And we've talked about that already, how you can go to our firm website right here, click on the Start Here button, and it will take you right here to book that consult. And remember, there's 3 of us. So if you can't get into me right away, then there are the 2 other lawyers. Now, I do have, for people that have critical, urgent things, they just want to talk to me, I do have an express access spot saved for people with emergency situations, but there is a little bit more of a premium to access those spots. And they're ones that mean I have to push aside other client work and essentially work later in the evening. And my wife is not happy with me doing that these days. So there we go. All right, so let's jump back here and we're just going to get to some more of these questions. All right, let's see. Okay, so Ritu says, when can we expect PPR for outland applicants in India? Guys, we're starting to see some movement. For you guys outland, one of the big issues is how quick the missions abroad, or the visa offices, consulates, whatever you want to call them, get back to business as usual. That's one of the most important parts, because with the passport requests and the basically the permanent resident visas, issuance of all of that requires at this stage a visa to be physically imprinted into a passport, and the confirmations of permanent residence to be physically mailed to you. And that takes people. And in some countries, things are opening up faster than others. Biometrics, the visa application centers. I think there's about 65% of the overseas biometrics collection places are open to some extent. So that's why things are being held up, Ritu. Okay. We've got Sabia in Islamabad. Welcome, welcome. Okay. And Darshan says, when are the travel restrictions lifts for work permit holders in Canada? It depends entirely on how this whole pandemic evolves. Remember, as you watch the travel restrictions, Canada is not taking the position that they're going to open it up by country, because just when a country is all green and good and everything's, the cases are all under control, then it flares up again. And so Canada is not opening things up based on country, but instead by what we call cohort. So certain groups of people, for example, you've seen the evolution of family members being able to come, spouses, essential workers, those kinds of things. And so that's how Canada is slowly opening things up. But it depends entirely on the virus. So you watch. Right now, we know that the travel restrictions are not opened up. When it comes to work permit holders, you have to realize that work permit holders come in many, many different facets. Some can come right now. If you're in the US, you can come. If the work that you're doing is not considered to be, if that's non-optional, non-discretionary work, which means it's really important for you to come and work. You're working in a critical industry. There are other cases where people have open work permits as spouses where they don't have a job in Canada. Well, those people are being turned around because they deem that as optional. All right. So just a little point. Okay. Amna says, super excited for your new channel. Me too. I'm really, really excited. Okay. Let's see here. David Chalk, my good friend. Preach, Mark. David, you are awesome. He's probably already moved on, isn't sitting here watching this, but I'm going to give a big shout out to David Chalk. He's an immigration lawyer in Quebec. He is the man in Quebec who represents the Quebec-based immigration lawyers, who attends those calls with IRCC and the other government departments every 2 weeks. If you need to go and you have matters that are destined to Quebec, David is the guy that you connect with. He is awesome, good friend. And I had the privilege last fall of going out there at his invitation to talk about express entry to the various members of ACADI, the Quebec-based Immigration Lawyer Association. And so big shout out, David. Great to have you joining. Awesome. And David, you have to come and join me on Immigration Nation. You are definitely going to come join me. Okay. Baba's down in the US. Okay. Alexis says, thanks for sharing. My husband applied to a college. How much do you charge for a study permit for him and a work permit for me? Alexis, book a consult. Okay. Because we have a collaborative process of doing work. It's not just a matter of us just going and doing everything. We believe in doing it collaboratively with you. You guys are all DIYers at heart. You wouldn't be on this channel if it wasn't the fact that you are interested in learning about the process yourself and getting information and knowledge that you can trust. Well, what we do is, as a firm, we add in a collaborative element where we review everything with you. So you get the full benefit of an immigration lawyer, but you get the cost savings of doing your part to help the process go quicker. And then you maintain control. That's the process we love most. So Alexis, connect, book that consult. And right now, like I said, Alicia is phenomenal. She is so good. And I say they're smarter. Susan and Alicia are smarter than me. They really are. That's the secret to my success. Hiring people around me that are smarter than me. Because then I always know if I'm not able to represent you directly, that you're not going to miss out on any help or assistance by using one of the other amazing lawyers within Holthe Immigration Law. All right. Okay, let's see here. Let's talk. Okay, let's check this one from Vivi. So could you explain what social assistance is? I received GST credit. Some say I need to return for the money I've received, and some say it is part of the COVID relief measure. Wow, this one is definitely, it goes beyond immigration. So I can't actually answer that. Social assistance is when you are on, the old way of describing it is welfare. It's basically you get a handout from the government. But everybody has been getting those lately with these Canadian emergency response benefits. And those are not considered to be social assistance. You talk about receiving a GST credit. Well, that GST credit is a benefit to everyone that has been paying GST on all their goods and services. And based on your income level, you then get a rebate. Like, I don't get one of those, but my kids do, because they don't earn the same income. They're not in the same income bracket as I am. So I'm not going to get into tax here, Vivi, but that's basically it. So that's what social assistance is. Who said that that I don't answer everything? Because I genuinely try to do that. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So Kushraj says, Mark, I want to pursue a paralegal post-grad course from Humber. I've done an LLB from India. How can I convince visa off so that I'll return to India after completing my course in Canadian law? Dude, that's going to be really hard. If you're already a lawyer in your home country, going to take a paralegal course in Canada is only going to benefit one thing: if you stay and remain in Canada. So, wow, that's one I don't have an answer for. It's going to be really tough. That's one factor that they look at, but obviously your education plan has to demonstrate how the education you're obtaining is going to benefit you and improve your job prospects and opportunities in your home country. And that's going to be a tough one. Wow. Good luck. Anything can happen these days. Anything can happen. Okay. Virpal says the average medical experience in year has gone up from medical experience. I'm not quite sure what this is. 6,600 to 20K. If I got a mail due to medical inadmissibility, should I approach you or Mario? I love to connect with you because of faith on you and costs. Please for rep. For Paul, he's talking about a medical inadmissibility. Understand, guys, there are a number of lawyers out there that really focus on these types of matters. And so I have, there's Mario Bellissimo, who's excellent, great lawyer, Bellissimo Law Group in Ontario. There's also Adrian Smith, who is another great lawyer that I refer work to in Ontario. And if you booked a consult with me, we reviewed everything, and I felt that you needed to get additional support. Either of those lawyers are exceptional, and I would direct you to them. But often we can kind of resolve things as well, even within the context of a consult. So consider that, Virpal. Okay, Nick's over in Abu Dhabi. Great. We've got Marie in the Philippines. Welcome. Let's keep zipping through here. MS is in Bangladesh. We'll give him a little connection there. Malik, great. Sarah's in Burnaby. Hi, Sarah. Ritu's in India. Wow, we got a great representation from Asia. Pakistan, we've got Jafar. Bilal is over in Bahrain. Welcome, Bilal. So we've got a great group of people. Asin is Algeria. Excellent. Okay, so let's see what Shapla says here. He said, I'm 37 and don't see my score fit for EE. Hence, interested for PNP entry. Appreciate if you give me more detailed information on that, please. So MK, this is where I'm going to ring my little bell here. You really need to book a consult so that we can canvass everything. I'm going to need a whole lot more than your age is 37. And that's why the consults are so important. Imagine, Chapel, if I said, oh, you're 37, you don't really have a chance. But really, there was something about your background or opportunities that I don't know about that would have changed the opinion that I gave you. That's why it's so important to book a consult, because I can canvass your whole background. You can tell me your story. I can ask these probing questions to dig out all the information that you may think is not even relevant, but might mean everything for the purposes of determining for you which pathway to permanent residence is possible. And even more important, Shapla, is the answer may be, Shapla, there's no programs. Don't waste your time and money pursuing Canada. Consider other countries or refocus on your own home country. those pieces of advice are every bit as valuable as when individuals are getting advice on how to actually immigrate. How many people do I know that have spent thousands of dollars giving money to overseas agents who tell them that they are eligible, who attend with an immigration consultant who says, yep, you're eligible for express entry. And that immigration consultant is correct. You are eligible. You can put that profile right in the pool. And then guess what? You pay them the $1,000, $2,000 to get in the pool. I know, because I've had consultations with people just in the last 3 weeks who've had this situation, who are now in the pool, closing in on 1 year, know it's going to expire, and the consultant is asking for another $1,000 to put their profile back in the pool. But they're sitting at 350 CRS score. I hate that. These consults, yeah, I charge $210 for a 25-minute consult, but in that consult, I tell you whether or not you have a reasonable chance of success, and if not, I tell you, so you do not waste money submitting a profile that's not going to get you anywhere. Now, there are times when maybe 350 CRS may even work, but each of those situations is case specific. All right. Okay, Christian says, please allow me to ask you about January intake. Is there a possibility of being online classes yet? Is it appropriate to apply for a study permit in these days? Christian, that's a great question. In every situation, once again, this is a general question that Christian is asking, but in your situation, it really almost hinges on this, right? It's really borderline on needing to know more information about your situation. I don't want to say blanket, it's not worth it, when maybe based on the type of program you're taking, maybe there's some lab components, there's some practical components that require you to be there. We don't know what the world's going to be looking like. Every school is different. Every program is different. Some schools have components to their courses that require in-person attendance. Those schools are locked down. My high school kids, they're going back to school here in September. But university, my 2 older university kids, Adam has a few, he's doing neuroscience prep courses, and there's laboratory components. My daughter, who's completing her program, which is a US school, she's doing hers online, but she actually does have a class that she could have attended in person, and she would have been able to go and attend school. We decided to keep her here because things are crazy in the US. But for her, she's taking theater performance. So she was able to do a lot of her classes online. So in your situation, Christian, I can't really tell you whether or not to proceed or not. I need a whole lot of information. And I recommend you book a consult and talk with myself or Alicia or Susan, and we can help you to make those decisions because they are important decisions. Okay, let's see here. Brian says, I'm applying for PR, but the company doesn't have a website. Is that an issue? We see this a lot. The company details are mentioned on other websites online. The onus is on you. Nothing within the immigration process says that your employer has to have a website. But how is the immigration officer going to verify that the company exists, that you're actually working for them? And it becomes an issue. Obviously, anyone can create a fake website too, but there are ways the officer can check to see even if the website is correct. So in your situation, you have to rely on everything else that you can get your hands on, including those other sites that mention the company. Does the company have a corporate registration that you can pull up from the corporate registry in your country? Are there tax filings that confirm that you have been paying taxes with that company, that are third-party government-issued documents? So there's a whole host of things, and I couldn't cover them all here, Brian, but absolutely those pieces of evidence that you've identified there are 100% ones that I would rely on as well. Okay? All right. And as always, we're open for consults, Brian. If you want to book a consult, in 25 minutes, we can really help to get things sorted for you so that you're then on the right path. And ultimately, for all of our clients that book consults with us, the option to just retain us, to collaboratively work with you together to make sure that application is correct when you file it is always an option. So keep that open. Okay. Okay, I love this. And normally I wouldn't even post it, but I'm going to post it. So, Canadian Immigration Institute, I'm Mark Holthe. I'm an immigration lawyer. If you go to the Express Entry Law Private Facebook group, you'll see that you have to answer certain questions. Are you a consultant? Are you a lawyer? Will you abide by the rules of the group? Will you not promote your, your own company? So we have Jafar here. The Settlers Consultancy from Pakistan, recruitment students for Canada and for rest of the world. So there's a big shout out to you, Jafar. In no way, shape, or form do I encourage you guys to contact this organization. They're not authorized by me. I have no known understanding of how they would be able to help you in any way, shape, or form, other than the bold letters that Jafar's put on here. So I can't recommend that you contact them. But there you go, Jafar. You put your comment, so I'll post it. And that is the kind of thing I get all the time. And if you guys look on the site, because I'm not falling all over myself praising immigration consultants, there are good ones out there, but there are so many terrible, awful consultants that exploit people, take advantage of them, and you have no recourse, at least right now, that I will continue to say whatever I want to say about them. But it irritates me. You don't see me going on Jafar's Facebook page promoting Holthe immigration law. It's just not cool, right? Jafar, do your own channel. Set it up, man. Set up your own YouTube channel and teach people. Show them why they should hire you. Demonstrate your knowledge of recruitment and why your organization is the best one to help people find a good school, a reputable school to go to. I slam these private schools all the time who are just study permit shops. Their sole purpose is to get you to come pay $25,000 for a useless degree, and then after, in some cases, not even eligible for a post-grad work permit. And there are overseas agencies that are just misleading people and pumping them into Canada, telling them, oh, you can become a permanent resident. Well, it's not that simple. Immigration lawyers can help you. Yes, do we charge a fee? Heck yes, we do, because of our expertise. But it's totally worth it. Don't just settle. Okay, there you go, Jafar. I know that's not what you're looking for, my friend, but there you go. So if you want people to go use you, then prove that that you deserve to be used. All right, let's play on. Okay, Gurji's over in Vancouver. Paper-based PR applications is immigration starting process again. For study permits, for spousal sponsorships, we're starting to see movement. I'm getting contacts from my clients. I'm getting notifications from immigration to pay biometric fees and things like that. We're hoping that in September, biometrics will open up in Canada. We'll see. And there's some other positive developments we're seeing overseas with more countries opening up. But when it comes to paper-based in Canada, we still have social distancing. The government still is doing their best to scan applications in. And so I've got clients who are stuck. They need that acknowledgement of receipt to get their bridging open work permits to extend their stay. And we just don't have acknowledgement. And that goes for spousal sponsorships every bit as much as paper-based PNP applications and the like. Good question. Okay, I'm just gonna skip through here, and if I jump through your questions, I'm sorry. I can see people posting multiples over and over and over. Okay, let's try. Chamod here says, "Hey Mark, does receiving an RPRF payment request mean the application for express entry is in the final stages?" Yes, that's exactly what it means. They wouldn't request it unless it was actually in those final stages. So, congratulations, my friend. Okay. Okay, so this is another example right here, Nydia. I'm going to do this one and ring the bell for you. As far as what you need to do, I can't advise you unless I get a whole lot more information, and that is something that's triggered directly towards you that doesn't benefit the other members. And even then, I don't have enough information to give you that advice. Book a consult and we can walk through it. Thanks, Arthur. He says, congratulations on the subscribers. And my friend, God bless you as well. Okay. The wise monkey. I love that. This guy, never miss a question. Have a blast, dude. Unfortunately, my friend, I do. And those of you who I've skipped your question or missed your question, I am really, really sorry. It's not possible to get to everyone. But remember, your questions are used to create the future videos. And you watch. I've got some issues with my MacBook Pro that I got to sort out. But as I release these videos, but watch, it's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then I have to close this down at 1:55 Mountain Time because I have an awesome spousal sponsorship review that I'm going to be doing with some clients in the UK. And so I've got to jump on and make sure I'm all set for that. And yeah, we do it all here. It's awesome. Okay, let's see what we have for a few more questions. Okay, let's see. RB says, is there a possibility Canada would stick to CEC in the coming draws, as some parts of the world have already entered in the second wave of COVID? You know, I personally feel like there's going to continue to be this rotation of where we have PNP, CEC, then an open draw, PNP, CEC, then an open draw. Although you did see they slipped in a federal skilled trade one, and we don't expect to see too many of those. But I expect the beginning of September that we're going to see another open draw. We'll see. What's my prognostication as to the total? Maybe 473. That's my guess. Okay. All right. And one last one. You can see here, I've answered that one, Bushra. You bet, about the FSW. Okay. Let's see here. Naki, the only reason I used glasses is because my contact lenses ran out and the optometrist was closed. So, but yes, on occasion I do wear my glasses. Okay, it looks like we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today. It was another awesome live Q&A. As always, guys, I keep pointing back to this, and I have consults with people who go ahead. I'm gonna just show you right now. I'm gonna flip my screen over here. And you will see, if you type in CanadianImmigrationInstitute.com, it will take you to the site where my courses are. And the one course that I want you guys to go check out if you're outside of Canada, considering permanent residence, just go and try it for free. The Express Entry complete step-by-step DIY course to doing it yourself. Go here and check it out. When you watch those first two videos, it will tell you whether or not you've got a shot of immigrating or not. Then, if the answer is yes, go ahead and purchase it. And one of the things I want to point out, like I always do in every one of these videos, you awesome folks who watch it to the end get the benefit of typing in the code EEDIY50. EE, Express Entry, do it yourself, 50. And when you click apply, what happens? It drops 50% off that price, $248.50 US. So go take a look at it. There's a link in the description. The Canadian Immigration Institute is the sponsor of all of this. The revenues that I generate from that course make all of this possible. And I put hundreds of hours into it. So even regardless of the charitable nature of purchasing it so that you can have Mark doing more of these videos, it's awesome. It has so much helpful information in there, not just information, but I actually demonstrate how to go through and fill in every question within the whole profile, as well as the APR. So check it out. Once again, this has just been another awesome live Q&A. Don't forget that I am going to be going live in the future on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So the next Wednesday coming up, this Wednesday, I will be doing it once a week, Mountain Daylight Time, and then watch the channel. Come back frequently. Make sure you click the little bell so you're notified when I go live. You're notified when there's a new video, new content, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You Facebookers, realistically, it's awesome that you're connecting with me there. It's great. But YouTube is where the future is for the Canadian Immigration Institute, because Facebook sucks and they don't allow me to actually share the information I want with all of you. It just disappears, or they don't even make it available on your timeline. So if that's the case, Facebook is just going to be secondary, and YouTube is now the face of the Canadian Immigration Institute. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. As always, it's been a delight. I am Mark Holthe, Canadian immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, wishing you guys all the best as you navigate this crazy world that we call Canadian immigration. Take care.